Have you heard of the candida spit test? Well, what it is as soon as you wake up in the morning, you get a glass of water just like this. And before you brush your teeth or eat anything, you just spit in it. And so I'm going to do that right now. It's kind of gross, I know, but I want you to see what happens. Okay, so I just spit in it. And what you're going to do is you're going to see that my spit will start having legs, and it's going to start having chunks and start coming down and weigh very heavy. Now what that is candida. And what that is that there is overgrowth of yeast in my body. The reason why I think God brought me to learn about this, I never even considered that I might have candida in my body, is that although I haven't been eating more than most people, and I know this because I was living with a couple people for a while, and they made a comment that, they ate more than I do, which actually was true. One was breastfeeding, so she could eat more, and one was a male who was taller and worked out, so of course he could eat more. But that made me question why I was gaining so much weight, even though I was starting to become more active and I was not eating that much. And I think a commercial came on to YouTube or something, and it talked about the spit test, and it talked about some of the things that are indicative of it. And then I looked up why you would have candida overgrowth and yeast, and one of the things is stress, and I've had a lot of stress in my life, and cortisol production happens, and with the cortisol production, it's something that doesn't turn off right away, and I've just had a lot of things that have happened. And when you have a lot of cortisol production, all the weight stays in your middle, so you may have you might even get Cushing's syndrome. And if you look at the Cushing's syndrome body type, I just went down this whole rabbit hole. I was like, wow, it looks like a lot like me, where it's all just in the middle, and there's like not, the limbs are still fairly normal, like they look how they used to look. And so I thought the first thing for me to try to do is to get rid of the candida. For about a week, I've been trying to just eliminate the foods that yeast can feed on in the body to get the growth under control, and taking a supplement that fights candida, or candidiasis or whatever. And it's got like oregano in it. I've been trying to cook with thyme. I've been cutting out well, actually, I've just only stuck with 4 proteins, so fish, salmon, specifically wild salmon, chicken, and eggs. Last night I tried red meat, and I think it was okay, but I don't think I'm going to do too much of that anymore until I can get everything under control. And if you guys know me at all, which you probably don't, I love to eat. Love to eat it. But it's okay because, I'm Catholic, so I'm used to denying myself. And part of denying myself is not just to get my health under control, but to, I can offer up to save souls. So that's not bad. There's some conflicting information on the internet, and the things that make sense to me, I will do, and the things that don't make sense, I test. So for example, trying to avoid sugars, because sugars are what yeast feeds on. And I know that because I've baked bread at home. And you can imagine how when you put the yeast actually I probably should have had that ready too. Maybe yeast in water, it will start to grow. And I thought, wow, if I have the yeast in my intestines and it's growing, this makes a lot of sense. My waist circumference is so big compared to the rest of my body. And then I saw a picture. It really was, I don't know, I think the picture was God sent. I looked like a Samoan male linebacker. I was like the largest person in the picture with teammates. So I have a paddling team, and some guys are large in the paddling team. And I was bigger than all of them. So I was shocked. And that just made me realize I needed to look into what is going on with me. Um, so yeah, see, you can see how heavy the spit is, and that's the indication of the candidiasis. And but before I started this diet, been doing this no candida type diet for a week, and I've already lost 12 pounds. So that's how I know that it's not all just fat. I'm sure some of it is fat and just getting older and all that, but it was abnormal. It was really just out of proportion with my lifestyle, and I do feel better. And let's see, what are other things? So no sugar, things that turn into sugar. So avoiding refined breads. So one of them said not to eat sourdough, but I have some garlic sourdough, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try it and see what it does. The next morning, I had already dropped a pound, so I think that that's okay. I'm going to continue to do that. Some say don't take any kombucha or fermented foods, and some say, oh yeah, you want fermented foods. So things like, yeah, kimchi, kombucha, let's see, what's the other one? Sauerkraut. So I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to, and I'm going to see how my body reacts. But I think that's what you need to do when you look up diets and talk to and put together your whole thing about what the experts are saying. I mean, every diet. Okay, so there's 3 diets I'm trying to do. Number 1 is the candida. Another one is to eat anti-inflammatory foods, and another one is to eat foods that help with insulin resistance. So I have a feeling I have all 3 issues. I have inflammation. I probably have candida due to this test, and I believe that there could be some pre-diabetes in there just because I have diabetes on both sides of my family. So I thought, why not? So the diets are very similar, but anything that isn't good for inflammation or insulin resistance or for candida, I'm going to try to cut out. But leafy greens is great for all 3 of those diets. Let's see what else. I'm sharing this because I see a lot of Catholics that have weight problems. And I don't mean that being Catholic makes you have weight problems, but especially our priests, they're under a lot of stress, and they don't always get the best diets. So I don't know if this will help if this starts going through the grapevine. I also did compile a list of all the different foods. It takes some time to listen to a bunch of different resources and read a different resources and then compile it. But I've got it, down. I've got it in my brain. But I just wanted to share this spit test just to start. And then maybe I'll share a little bit more about what I've come up with these 3. Hey, 3 Trinity. The 3 types of eating that I think plague our society today. But yeah, as Catholics, we can beat this. But I think that what's hard is when you gain weight, everyone thinks it's just calories in, calories out, or they think it's what do you call it? Just a lack of control. That you're just eating candy all day or something. And I don't keep candy too much in my house. I have a bag of chocolate covered macadamia nuts from my sister when she came back from Hawaii, and I've had it for like months in the fridge, and I eat like 2 every 3 weeks, So it's not that, and I know that. Now, if you are out of control and you're always baking cakes and eating cakes and all that, then maybe that's the issue. But for someone like me who doesn't really do too much junk food, I mean, I do, but it's not enough to be like a linebacker I'm not a huge girl by nature. Always been like very slim up until all the stress started coming into my life, maybe about a decade ago. It just started getting worse and worse. But recently, this year, just insane. Like I said, I almost hit 200 pounds. And that was pretty crazy. So anyways, let me just tell you that this candida test for candidiasis is the unhealthy growth of yeast fungus in your system. Could be growing into your colon, intestine, large intestines, small intestine, up into your esophagus, etc. If you're wondering if you have it, just do the spit test like I did. It's super simple. It takes like 2 seconds. It's funny, it kind of dissipates after a while. But if your spit is heavy and you start getting those strings in the clouds, there's probably an indication that you need to do something to change up your diet. Yeah, it doesn't sound like much where I'm like, oh, salad and eggs and wild salmon. The farm salmon's not good because there can be some toxic things in it. I could talk more about that later, but I think that this is just enough to get you guys going. If you think you have a problem, let me know. If any viewers like think they do spit test and then they put a comment, then I can know that it might be worth your time that I even go into what I'm doing. But if you want it just to still be more real faith focused and not too much of my lifestyle, then I probably won't do it if people aren't interested. So, okay, thank you very much. Yeah, your likes actually make a difference for me to know what kind of content people like to see, and comments as well. So if you think this is a channel worthwhile, or my channel is everything. It just started with me trying to remember all the different sermons that I hear, but then I realized that a lot of people do like the sermons. I say a lot. I think, oh, if 40 people like it, then it's worthwhile, but also for myself. So if you like this, if you think that people need to learn more about even health, or just like hear my diary and my experiences, that's great. Again, not a health expert, just going off of things that I've seen and I've tried and some things that work. Like I said, a week of doing this and I lost 12 pounds. That means that it was probably overgrowth, maybe water retention, and maybe a little fat, I don't know. But the scale did not cross 200. It started to go down. So I'm grateful for that. I am at currently 188 this morning. So thanks be to God.